बेंगलुरु की बीईटी सादतुन्निसा डिग्री कॉलेज में एक रोज़ा आलमी सेमिनार बानी अल-अमीन तहरीक डॉक्टर मुमताज़ अहमद खान को खिराज अकीदत खिराज तहसीन पेश। डॉक्टर मुमताज़ अहमद खान एक ऐसे विजनरी, एक ऐसे दूरंदेश, एक ऐसे प्लानर, एक ऐसे थिंकर जिन्होंने कौम व मिल्लत की तालीमी तरक्की के लिए न सिर्फ ख्वाब देखे बल्कि अपने ख्वाबों ख्यालों को हकीकत में बदल कर दिखाया। मुसलमानों में तालीमी बेदारी पैदा की। अल-अमीन तहरीक का असर कि न सिर्फ कर्नाटक बल्कि मुल्क की मुख्तलिफ रियासतों में कई तालीमी इदारे कायम हुए, आबाद हुए। लिहाजा मौजूदा दौर में भी डॉक्टर मुमताज़ अहमद खान के विजन मिशन को आगे बढ़ाने अल-अमीन तहरीक अल-अमीन सोसाइटी को यूनिवर्सिटी के दर्जे तक ले जाने की ज़रूरत है। डॉक्टर मुमताज़ अहमद खान की शख्सियत और कारनामों पर मुनक़दा इंटरनेशनल सेमिनार में मुल्क की नामवर शख्सियात ने इन ज़रीन ख्यालात का इजहार किया।
जब तक हम जानते थे दुनिया हमारे सामने ज़ालिम तलम्मुस तय करती थी, अब हम नहीं जानते हैं तो कोई हमें खातिर में क्यों लाए। डॉक्टर मुमताज़ अहमद खान और उनके रुफ़क़ा ने इसी बात का एहसास किया और उसके नतीजे में हमें अल-अमीन के इदारे कायम हुए। तो अल-अमीन के इदारे सिर्फ कर्नाटका में कायम नहीं हुए।
During the late 70s and early 80s, in addition to the Al-Ameen Education Society institution, the society focused on development initiatives to address economic and social issues of the community. Thus, the Al-Ameen Hospital, Al-Ameen Medical College, Ultron, IFEC, KPHT, Aman Bank, Salar Publications, and several other institutions were established.
7 दिसंबर 2023 बरोज जुमेरात बेंगलुरु के बिस्मिल्लाह नगर की बीईटी कॉलेज में एक रोज़ा आलमी सेमिनार मुनक़द हुआ। बीईटी सादतुन्निसा कॉलेज की सिल्वर जुबली की मुनासिबत से अल-अमीन आर्ट साइंस कॉमर्स और लॉ कॉलेज के इश्तराक से ये इंटरनेशनल सेमिनार हुआ। नई दिल्ली से आई मुल्क की मारूफ इल्मी व अदबी शख्सियत प्रोफेसर अख्तरुल वासे ने सेमिनार का इफ्तिताह किया। साबिक मरकजी वजीर के रहमान खान ने कलीदी खुतबा पेश किया, जबकि साबिक रियासती वजीर और बीईटी इदारे जात के चेयरमैन आर रोशन बेग ने इफ्तिताई जलसे की सदारत की। डॉक्टर मुमताज़ अहमद खान के फर्जंद और अल-अमीन एजुकेशनल सोसाइटी के चेयरमैन उमर इस्माइल खान, केरला से आए टीपीएम इब्राहिम खान, अहमदाबाद से आए मारूफ एडवोकेट और गुजरात टुडे अखबार के सदर मोहम्मद सोहेल तिरमिजी, टुमकुर यूनिवर्सिटी के साबिक वाइस चांसलर डॉक्टर यस्सी शर्मा, अल-अमीन एजुकेशनल सोसाइटी के सेक्रेटरी जुबैर अनवर सेठ, बीईटी इदारे के सेक्रेटरी सैयद सैफुल्लाह, ट्रेजरर जे शफीउल्लाह और दीगर मौजूद थे। के रहमान खान ने मरहूम डॉक्टर मुमताज़ अहमद खान से अपने देरीना ताल्लुकात पर रोशनी डालते हुए कहा कि नेगेटिव सोच, मनफी सोच को पॉजिटिव सोच में बदलते हुए मुकामी लोगों की हौसला अफजाई और रहनुमाई करते हुए डॉक्टर साहब ने रियासत कर्नाटक के मुख्तलिफ शहरों में न सिर्फ कर्नाटक बल्कि मुल्क की चंद दीगर रियासतों में तालीमी इदारे कायम किए जो आज कौम व मिल्लत का बड़ा असासा साबित हुए हैं। के रहमान खान ने कहा कि डॉक्टर मुमताज़ अहमद खान की क़यादत में एक टीम ने जिसके पास न पैसे थे न वसाइल थे, लेकिन बुलंद हौसलों बुलंद अज़ाइम के साथ कई इदारों की बुनियाद रखी। इस सेमिनार में रहमान खान ने इस तल्ख हकीकत को भी बयान किया कि चंद हासिदीन और सोसाइटी में मौजूद चंद अफराद ने चुगलखोरी करते हुए डॉक्टर साहब और उनके दरमियान दरारें पैदा की। इस मौके पर प्रोफेसर अख्तरुल वासे ने अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी से डॉक्टर मुमताज़ अहमद खान के ताल्लुकात को बयान करते हुए कहा कि डॉक्टर साहब ने यूनिवर्सिटी की तरक्की के लिए गैर मामूली अतियात दिए। आपकी उम्मीदें कलील थीं लेकिन मकासिद जलील थे। डॉक्टर यस्सी शर्मा ने कुरान मजीद की आयतों और हिंदू मजहब के श्लोक पढ़ते हुए डॉक्टर मुमताज़ अहमद खान की खिदमात पर रोशनी डाली। सेमिनार में अहमदाबाद से आए एडवोकेट मोहम्मद सोहेल तिरमिजी ने कहा कि 2002 के गुजरात फसादात के मजलूमीन को इंसाफ दिलवाने के लिए डॉक्टर मुमताज अहमद खान ने उन्हें तहरीक दी, हिम्मत दी। आलमी सेमिनार के इफ्तिताई इजलास के बाद पैनल डिस्कशन का इनाकाद अमल में आया, जिसकी निजामत मारूफ कॉलम निगार मोहम्मद आजम शाहिद ने की। इस डिस्कशन में डॉक्टर मुमताज अहमद खान की शख्सियत, इनके तालीमी मिशन को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए क्या तदबीरें की जाएं, क्या इक़दामात किए जाएं, अल-अमीन एजुकेशनल सोसाइटी की मजीद तरक्की के लिए क्या कोशिशें हों, इस पर तबादिले ख्याल किया गया। जनूबी हिंद न्यूज़ रिपोर्ट।
अस्सलामु अलैकुम warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and merciful. It is with great pleasure and honor to welcome the respected dignitaries and guests on and off the dais. My dear colleagues, delegates and participants, on this one-day international seminar on the contribution and legacies of late Baba al-Talib, Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan Sahib, as an educationist, a visionary and a leader in the field of education and health, to commemorate the silver jubilee of BT SadatunissaCollege Degree College in collaboration with Al-Ameen Art Science and Degree College and Al-Ameen Law College. On behalf of BT and Al-Ameen, I wholeheartedly welcome the Honorable Chairman, Bismillah Education Trust, the former Minister of our home, Mr. R. Roshan Bey, has graciously accepted our invitation to preside over the inaugural function.
Now let us go to the seminar. Our seminar is divided in two parts. We'll have inaugural address, then we'll go for the panel discussion because we have very good people like Professor Vasti, Professor Ahmed with us, and then we'll have panel discussion. Then go for track. There are 3 tracks. Then online, there are 11 people who are presenting papers from various parts of the world. And then we have 2 tracks for our local professors, inshallah, it will go on after lunch, and 3:45 we have valedictory. Let us start first with the address of Mr. Umar Ismail Khan. He is the son of Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan, leading Al-Ameen Educational Society with utmost sincerity and honesty. I request you, sir, to present your address. Thank you.
Late Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan Sahib was my father. He was an MBBS graduate. As a doctor, he would have settled in his life peacefully with his medical profession. But he had a strong and great vision to augment, elevate and uplift the social, educational, moral and cultural standards of downtrodden and the general public, irrespective of caste, creed and religion, and oppressed Indians by promoting useful education so as to eradicate illiteracy, ignorance, superstition, poverty and moral degradation. The basic instinct of serving the society in the field of education was transferred from my grandparents to my father. My grandfather and my grandmother both were products of Aligarh Muslim University. My grandmother was an educationist by nature, and thereby the idea of starting an education institution was floated at a family event. My father always maintained a high level of discussion at the family dining table, and no gossip or personal jokes were allowed. He maintained a high standard of discipline always, and he had a good habit that whatever comes good to his mind, he used to implement it immediately. He never delayed in implementing good things. He followed the principle during his lifetime, as a result of which the first institution, Al-Ameen Art, Science and Commerce College, was started in the year 1968 with a mere strength of 30 students. And today his efforts and hard work has resulted in establishing about 200 schools and colleges throughout India, and every year about 1 lakh students are getting educated through Al-Ameen institutions spread throughout India under Al-Ameen movement. My father was an educationist par excellence. My father was a unique personality, the kind you find only once in a lifetime. My grandfather was from Krishnapalli and my grandmother was from Bengaluru. My great-grandfather, Mr. Hamid Ali Jan, was an employee in the railways, who was posted to Pune in 1935 and my father was born there at Sassoon Hospital. It was my grandfather's love and sacrifice for education that inspired my father to become an educationist. All other institutions that he established as a social worker are not with us now. It is only the educational institutions that we continue to administer. He was a man who personally did not like comforts. He used to put a power mat on the floor and sleep comfortably. He would eat any kind of food and stayed happy. His favorite dress was a safari suit, and he advised his friends and staff to wear the same. He had great love for sports as he was a sportsman himself. He always had admiration and respect for all sportsmen, especially wrestlers. He used to say that a man has to be tough and physically strong always, and there should be no compromise on that. He insisted on me and my nephews to go to the gym. He always used to advise the younger generation that it is not necessary for us to stay at our homeland only. The whole world is an opportunity for us, and wherever Allah has kept this for us, we should go bravely and settle down there.
Life and achievement of Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed, Al-Ameen movement's contribution to fostering interfaith and intercommunity harmony. In fact, ever since 1996, I knew late Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khanji. I was very closely associated with him. I would call him as a saint. He came to this world to do some great work. He was very, very focused. His focus was only on education. He would tell me how things were pre-independence times when he was studying. And there was a common factor. His grandfather and the ancestors had Karachi store in Trichy, and my mother's grandfather and all of them knew for decades. He had a creation, a creative creation. He had divine creation in his mind, and there was absolutely no fiction or conflict. The quest for peace was very, very prevalent in him. He had a harmonious coexistence. He knew about the cultures and civilization. Just as we see the deserts of Egypt, Arabia, deep jungles in India where so many scheduled tribes, etc. are suffering, nunneries of Catholic, Tibet, Europe, so many other places. But he would always say, human being is one. Suffering and misery of all caste, community, faith, the human suffering has to be addressed properly. There are different sects. He said that I chose after when he was 31 or so. That is what he told me. He had some kind of a divine intuition that he has to do for the Muslim community who have not even entered the schools. So many people have not even entered schools. He wanted to start a nursery, and his vision was to develop a big university, which will happen very soon also, I suppose. Pray God. The divine manifestation of a persona, he, capital He, stood with me in the times of my gloom. He always stood with people who have fallen. Endurance and struggle, fire, faith and hope. His actions were always compassionate. I would see compassion in his actions, empathy and courage. His perseverance was something different. His day would start early morning at 4 o'clock or 4:15, and he would say that the first prayer was started at 4 o'clock or 4:15 in the morning. He would do it. And then without that he would not. And even in Al-Ameen he would go to the mosque and pray, and whatever thoughts he had, he submitted before the Lord, and he got that kind of an intuition. I would call him as a saint, Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan. He was a saint.
मैं سب سے پہلے میرے اوپر فرض ہے کہ میں شکریہ ادا کروں جناب شفیع اللہ صاحب کا، جن کے اصرار اور محبت اور کے نتیجے مجھے آج کی تقریب کا حصہ بننے کا موقع ملا۔ آج کی تقریب جس شخصیت کے نام موسوم ہے ڈاکٹر ممتاز احمد خان، وہ بنیادی طور پہ آپ بابائے تعلیم کی حیثیت سے جانتے ہیں، میں انہیں ساؤتھ کے سر سید کی حیثیت سے جانتا ہوں۔ وہ بنیادی طور پہ پیدا تو تامل ناڈو میں ہوئے، لیکن انہوں نے اپنی کرم بھومی کرناٹک کو بنایا اور یہاں پر انہوں نے تعلیم کی جو تحریک چلائی وہ تحریک الامین کے نام سے جانی جاتی ہے۔ صاحبو، تحریک الامین اس کا نام ہونا بنیادی طور پہ اس صادق و امین کے مشن کی تجدید کرنا ہے، جو کہ جب غار حرا سے صبح قوم آیا تھا، جس نے فرمایا تھا علم حاصل کرنا فرض ہے ہر مسلمان مرد پر، ہر مسلمان عورت پر، جس نے کہا تھا علم حاصل کرو ماں کی گود سے لے کے قبر تک۔ ڈاکٹر ممتاز احمد خان صاحب نے یہی سوچا کہ کیا وجہ ہے کہ ایک ایسے نبی کی امت میں ہونے کے باوجود ہم تعلیم کے اعتبار میں پسماندہ ہیں۔ سچر کا سچ کیا ہے؟ سچر کا سچ یہی تو ہے کہ ہم تعلیم میں ہوں، سماجی معاملات میں ہوں یا معاشی معاملات میں ہوں پسماندہ۔ یہ پسماندگی کیوں ہے؟ یہ سوال تھا جو ڈاکٹر صاحب نے سچر کے قیام سے بہت پہلے جس کا اندازہ لگا لیا تھا اور جس کے لیے کام کیا۔ انہوں نے بنیادی طور پہ ہم سب جانتے ہیں اور ہمیں سب کو پتا ہے کہ انہوں نے یہ جان لیا تھا کہ دنیا میں ہر چیز بدل سکتی ہے، اگر نہیں بدل سکتی تو وہ سنت الہی نہیں بدل سکتی۔ اور سنت الہی کیا ہے؟ سنت الہی سورہ بقرہ جب ہم پڑھتے ہیں تو جہاں تخلیق آدم کا واقعہ آتا ہے، ہم دیکھتے ہیں کہ فرشتے جو آمنا و صدقنا کہنے کے علاوہ کچھ نہیں جانتے، وہ آدم کی تخلیق کے بارے میں تھوڑا سنکوچ کا شکار، انہیں جھجک تھی، تکلف تھا، لیکن اللہ رب العزت نے فرشتوں سے کہا چیزوں کے نام بتاؤ، فرشتے نہیں بتا پائے۔ اس کے بعد آدم سے کہا، آدم نے فر بتا دیے۔ سوال یہ ہے اس کے بعد اللہ نے فرشتوں سے کہا کہ آدم کو سجدہ کرو اور روز ازل قیامت تک کے لیے اپنی اس سنت کو امر کر دیا، دوامی بنا دیا کہ جو نہیں جانتے ہیں انہیں جھکنا پڑے گا ان کے سامنے جو جانتے ہیں۔ اور نتیجہ یہ ہوا کہ ہم سب جانتے ہیں جب تک ہم جانتے تھے دنیا ہمارے سامنے ظالم و تلمس طے کرتی تھی، اب ہم نہیں جانتے ہیں تو کوئی ہمیں خاطر میں کیوں نہ آئے۔ ڈاکٹر ممتاز احمد خان اور ان کے رفقا نے اسی بات کا احساس کیا اور اس کے نتیجے میں ہمیں الامین کے ادارے قائم ہوئے۔ الامین کے ادارے صرف کرناٹکا میں قائم نہیں ہوئے اور صرف سائنس، آرٹس اور کامرس کالج میں ہی قائم ہوئے، صرف انجینئرنگ اور میڈیکل کا قیام نہیں ہوا، بلکہ انہوں نے ہر طرح کے اداروں کے قیام کی کوشش کی، پری پرائمری سے لے کے اور ڈگری کالج تک وہ اس کام کو کرتے رہے۔ آج سوال یہ ہے کہ جب ڈاکٹر ممتاز احمد خان ہمارے بیچ میں نہیں ہے تو ہمیں کیا کرنا چاہیے؟ مجھے خوشی ہے کہ ہم جس ادارے میں جمع ہیں یہ ادارہ ان کی والدہ کے نام پہ ہے، بسم اللہ ایجوکیشن ٹرسٹ میں قائم کر رکھا ہے اور روشن بیگ صاحب کی سرپرستی میں یہ ادارہ خوب ترقی کر رہا ہے۔ یہاں ویسے بھی ترقی کرنی چاہیے، جب مہدی کی کو طلب کریں گے تو نصرت آپ کے حصے میں آنی ہے۔ یہ بنیادی طور پہ طے شدہ امر ہے، اس میں کوئی شک نہیں ہے، کیونکہ مہدی کا ساتھ جو دیتا ہے وہ کامیاب ہوتا ہے، وہ جو نہیں دیتا وہ دجال کا ساتھی کہلاتا ہے۔ تو روشن بیگ صاحب نے یہ کام کیا کہ انہوں نے اور اس کے نتیجے میں ان کے حصے میں نوشاد بھی آئے، جاوید اختر بھی آئے، یہ ایک بڑی خوبی کی بات ہے۔ لیکن آج جو سب سے بڑا سوال ہے جس کے لیے مجھے بے حد خوشی ہے जिसका मैं एतराफ़ करना चाहता हूँ, इजहार करना चाहता हूँ। हम जिस ज़माने में जी रहे हैं, इस ज़माने में हम असरियत जो है वो हिजाबी है और अजाब भी है। लेकिन रहमान अली खान हो या हमारे रोशन बेग साहब हों या इनके दूसरे रुतबा हों, इन्होंने ये काम नहीं किया, बल्कि डॉक्टर मुमताज अहमद खान की वालदा के नाम पर कॉलेज को कायम किया। ये बड़ी बात है, इसके लिए जितना भी इनका को मुबारकबाद दी जाए। सआदतुन्निसा बेगम जो थी वो अलीगढ़ की पढ़ी हुई थी, उनके शोहर भी अलीगढ़ के पढ़े हुए थे, उनके बेटे और पोते जो हैं वो अलीगढ़ पढ़े हुए नहीं थे। लेकिन डॉक्टर मुमताज अहमद खान को इस बात का शरफ और इम्तियाज हासिल था कि वो अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी जो उनके वालिदैन की तालीमगाह थी, मादरे इल्मी थी, उसके वो ऑनरेरी ट्रेजरर भी रहे और प्रो चांसलर भी रहे। और मैं एक बार अलीगढ़ का पढ़ा हुआ हूँ, अलीगढ़ में पैदा हुआ, अलीगढ़ में पढ़ा और बड़ा मैं इसका एतराफ़ करता हूँ कि अलीगढ़ के अंदर जो खतीर अतियात डॉक्टर साहब ने जमा किए उसका गैर मामूली तौर पे जवाब नहीं है। और अलीगढ़ का की जो आजकल पहचान बना हुआ है बाब सैयद, वो जो उसकी तामीर हुई वो डॉक्टर साहब के लाए हुए अतियात से ही हुई। इस बात का भी हमें एतराफ़ करना चाहिए। साहब डॉक्टर साहब का मामला ये था कि वो उनकी उम्मीद कलील और मकासद जदीद, ये सबसे बड़ी बात है जिसका हमें एतराफ़ करना चाहिए। दूसरी बात जो मुझे यहाँ अर्ज करनी है और जिसे मैं कल से बार दोहरा रहा हूँ, वो इसलिए कि मेरी उससे जुड़ी हुई क्या यादें हैं। एक फोटो लगा हुआ है डॉक्टर साहब का, मैं भी उसमें शामिल हूँ, और वो क्या है, इस्लामिक स्टडीज का इफ्तिताह हो रहा था। सवाल ये है, आज मुझे अफसोस है कि इस्लामिक स्टडीज में सिर्फ डॉक्टर साहब का एक ख्वाब जो था वो पूरा हुआ और एक ही PhD हो पाई, जबकि वो सिलसिला जारी रहना चाहिए था। और कर्नाटका में जारी नहीं रहेगा तो फिर कहाँ जारी रहेगा? ये सोचने वाली बात है। हमें शर्मा साहब जैसे लोग मौजूद हैं हमारे पास, तो हमें इनका फायदा उठाना चाहिए, इनकी मदद लेनी चाहिए और तालीम को, इस्लामिक स्टडीज को एज ए सब्जेक्ट जो है अपने इदारों में बाकायदा तौर पे सब्जेक्ट के तौर पे इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहिए। अगर पहले कॉलेजेस में आना चाहिए, कॉलेजेस के बाद यूनिवर्सिटी में भी बाद में वो आ सकता है, मुझे उसकी वो नहीं है। अल-अमीन के इदारों को जरूरी तौर पे इस बात की कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि वो इस्लामिक स्टडीज का निसाब जो है अपने यहाँ शामिल करें। मैं खाली इस्लामिक स्टडीज की बात नहीं करता, इस्लामिक स्टडीज के अलावा मैं चाहता हूँ कि हिंदू रिलीजियस स्टडीज या इंडियन रिलीजन एंड कल्चर के नाम से भी पर्चा होना चाहिए, और वो बच्चे जो भी लेना चाहें ये उनकी ज़मीर पर और उनके ऊपर छोड़ देना चाहिए कि वो किस सब्जेक्ट को लेना चाहते हैं और किस में तालीम हासिल करना चाहते हैं, किस में इख्तिसास और स्पेशलाइजेशन चाहते हैं। मैं ये समझता हूँ अगर हम ऐसा करते हैं तो गैर मामूली काम करेंगे। मैं डॉक्टर साहब को मुबारक की जो साथी हैं अभी भी और जो लगे हुए उनके काम में और उसके काम को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं, उन्हें मुबारकबाद देता हूँ और डॉक्टर साहब को खिराज अकीदत पेश करते हुए दुआ करता हूँ कि अल्लाह ताला उनकी कब्र को नूर से भर दे, उनके दर्जात को बुलंद फरमाए, उनकी औलाद को उनका जैसा बनाए और वो उसी तरह से अपने वालिद के मिशन को आगे बढ़ाएं जैसा कि उनके वालिद ने अपनी जिंदगी में नाम कमाया। और नाम काहे से कमाया? तालीम के फरोग से कमाया। ये काम होना चाहिए। मुझे उम्मीद है कि उमर सलीम साहब जो हैं वो इस काम को जिस तरह से बहैसियत चेयरमैन अल-अमीन एजुकेशन ट्रस्ट के आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं और आगे बढ़ाएंगे और रफ्तार देंगे और गति देंगे और आगे बढ़ाएंगे। मैं एक दफा फिर आपका शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ।
Just before me, Dr. Sharma Akhtar Wasi Sahab has spoken on the life and achievements of Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan and his personality. We have to remember that our elders who laid the foundation stones for any type of movement should be remembered, and they should be, their vision should be shared and carried forward. No doubt, Dr. late Mumtaz Ahmed Khan Sahab was a visionary and dedicated his life for promotion of education among all sections of society, in particular Muslim community. It is important to study the life of visionaries, their vision and achievements, the difficulties they have encountered, as well as their contribution to the overall development of society. Such seminar and discussion can help the future generation to commemorate and learn from these personalities and their life and remember their legacy. Him closely, having worked with him for more than 3 decades. Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan hailed from Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu, and his parents were deeply involved in social service. They brought Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan by inculcating in him the values of service, which something that they themselves were engaged practically in, particularly Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan Sahab's mother, SadatunissaCollege, in whose name this college has been named. After completing his medical education, Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan wanted to continue his medical practice by shifting from Tiruchirappalli to Bengaluru. His wife is from a well-reputed family of Bengaluru. When he came to Bengaluru, the principal of Jamal Muhammad College, where he studied, mentioned to him that despite Bangalore being a big city, there was no Muslim-run first-grade degree college in Bangalore. This issue and took the initiative to discuss the matter with few like-minded people, including then Mrs. Abbasiya Begum Makki, then MLC, Mr. Abish Sharif, a social worker, Ismail Sharif Saab, a retired IAS officer, and some other, and established an organization in the name of Al-Ameen Education Society. Al-Ameen Education Society was established in the year 66. Mrs. Abbasiya Begum Makki and Abish Sharif were the founder, chairman and secretary of the Al-Ameen Education Society. Being MLC, Mrs. Makki had influence in the government, and so the society was able to get permission to start Al-Ameen Arts, Science and Commerce College. To establish an education institution having an appropriate physical location is very important. In this regard, Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan's father-in-law site played a very important role. They came forward to hand over some land of Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan, a bungalow, then to start the college. The college started in a bungalow of Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan's father-in-law in Kalasipalle. In the beginning, Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan Sahab faced considerable difficulty in establishing the college. The college had no funds even to pay salaries for this staff, but he struggled. He never gave it up. I mean, the difficulty he encountered in the beginning to start the college without any fund is a very difficult task. Now, nobody came forward at that time. He has to struggle, he has to borrow, he has to put in his own money. Gradually, however, several individuals teamed up with Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan in his effort to get the college going and extended their support in mobilizing donations to run the college. Till 1972, the college faced huge financial constraints. Later, when Mr. S.M. Yahya became the education minister, he included Al-Ameen College for being eligible for the grant and granting aid for the government. Numerous Muslim leaders such as Mr. Aziz Seth, Justice Iqbal Hussain, Mr. Muhammad Ali, then Minister in Karnataka, and several other prominent people extended their moral support to Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed. Mr. Aziz Seth, who then was the Minister for Labour and Work, lent his support to Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan in the early period of Al-Ameen Education Society. This role was very crucial. His role was very crucial. Mr. Sheikh played a dynamic role in promoting the Al-Ameen Education Society. As a Minister of Work, he helped the society to get prime 6 acres of work land on Siddhaya Road, just opposite to Lalbagh on a 99-year case, where now the Al-Ameen Education Society and the education complex exist. The land that was leased out to society had been illegally encroached. Through his perseverance, Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan risked his life to remove the encroachment. Slowly, people started appreciating Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan's effort. Gradually, Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan teamed up to assist him by including some well-known personalities like Aziz Seth, Justice Iqbal Hussain, Mr. Rahmatullah Khan Sahab, Mr. IAS and Mr. Rahmatullah Khan and bureaucrats and several others who became his advisors. During the same time, in a neighboring Kerala, Dr. Abdul Ghafoor, who is like Dr. Mumtaz Khan was a medical doctor, started a similar education movement and established a Muslim education society, which is called MES. He was a great visionary and set up many education institutions in Kerala. Management of the Al-Ameen Arts Center and College and entrusted it to the duly elected body and took up much bigger task of touring the different parts of the country and motivating people for the cause of education. And the motivation, with the result of the motivation, 2 big institutions. One in Kerala, headed by PPM Ibrahim Sahab, which is equally a very big institution. And another was in Al-Ameen movement in West Bengal. And he took keen interest. Some people came forward, some people they didn't came forward, but his task was to motivate, and his motivation has helped to come up several institutions in the country and for his motivation. So he has started a formula: if the local people contribute whatever they contribute, the Al-Ameen movement will contribute equal amount. And this formula works somewhere, and some places it was not able to. So the initial period which he faced, there was a negativism was there. What he was trying to do, the negative attitude of the community towards education, in promoting education, was to be converted into the positiveness. Then only success comes. So he has undertaken that task by removing the negative feeling among the community that we have to struggle, we have to work hard and leave the result to the Allah, and then we should not start with the negativism that Muslims will not do this, Muslim will not be able to do this. All this, that negative which prevails within the community. Some of you who have not seen those days, and now things have changed, but those days, any work you want to start, there will be, the elders used to say it is not possible, Muslims cannot do it, it is not, we have no money. These are the things, this negativity which prevails in the community. The greatest contribution of Dr. Mumtaz is to convert this negativity to the positive. That he was mostly attached to cause, not to person. When the person was useful to the cause, he encouraged them. During the late 70s and early 80s, In addition to the Al-Ameen Education Society institution, the society focused on development initiative to address economic and social issues of the community. Thus, the Al-Ameen Hospital, Al-Ameen Medical College, Ultron, IFEC, KBHT, Aman Bank, Salar Publications, and several other institutions were organized, was established. Then it was felt it is not only education institution alone, we need several other diverse activities to go. So these are the institutions which was taken simultaneously along with the education movement. These institutions were support to the education movement also. To accomplish all this was not possible for an individual alone. It requires a team of several dedicated persons. Over the years, at different point of time, observing Dr. Khan's active involvement, a number of people joined him to assist him in his effort. Hundreds of people were with him who were sincere and honest. With his effort, a number of middle and secondary institutions was established. One major proof of such successful institution is the Al-Ameen institution, Kochi and Kerala. The successful functioning of Al-Ameen education institution in Kochi is due to the Al-Ameen movement and initial handholding of the Al-Ameen society. Mr. Maqsood Ali Khan, Mr. Ibrahim Balla Khan Sahab, Irfan Al-Zaf and Sadakat Kina and myself associated with Dr. Khan in accomplishing the task of establishing various institutions. One of the reasons for the progress of these efforts made was the credibility and involvement of the team. You see, you have to have a credibility of the society also, and that only it will come. So we had the team, Al-Ameen team, as a credibility. The beginning of 1990s was the golden era of Al-Ameen movement, and teamed up several started working in many different sectors. In a period of about 3 decades or more, I was one of the closest associates of Dr. Mumtaz. Most of the decisions and initiatives were by the Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan, myself, and Dr. Khan kept himself away from the day-to-day of the management of the various institutions, as he is a man of action. Because his philosophy is to start a movement, start the institution, motivate them. Once that comes up, he disassociates, he will go to some other place. He will not again with it. So like that he used to motivate. Every human being however successful he may be, suffer from some weaknesses also. The fast development of Al-Ameen movement and number of institutions that came under the banner of Al-Ameen received widespread attention. While some appreciated this, a few became jealous. The team became very big and backbiting started within the team. Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan, my relations were strained due to difference created by our own colleagues. My political rise and my dominating role in the movement along with Dr. Khan were not liked by some colleagues, and they created differences between us, and some wrong persons became close and they spoiled some of the relationships. History is full of such instances, and Al-Ameen saga is one such. I always respect Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan and admired his zeal and commitment. An important quality of Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan was that he was a great persuader. He motivated. Because he does nothing. He persuades. If he take a toss, because God was kind to him. Because he has no other assigned job like doing this business or in this one. God was kind to him. He is not dependent on anything. God was this. So he dedicated his full time in this moment. So his job is every morning get up and what are all classes every morning from 7 to 9 telephone to each person what has happened. He used to remind everybody. So some of the initial persuasion that helped to build the movement. Actions are developing Why not we? What does it mean we don't have it? क्या इंटेलेक्चुअल में कमी है, तालीम में कमी है, मेहनत में कमी है? नहीं, एक ही कमी है, नेगेटिव. ये नहीं हो, मुसलमान नहीं करते. एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन क्यों नहीं बोलते? हम नहीं चलाते. हमारे पास पैसा कहाँ है? कौन देते पैसा? गरीब हैं. ये जो है नेगेटिविज्म, जो अल-अमीन मूवमेंट का ग्रेटेस्ट अचीवमेंट इज कन्वर्टिंग द नेगेटिव एटीट्यूड ऑफ द कम्युनिटी पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड. Those who have taken positive attitude have succeeded. All these institutions have taken positive attitude and they have succeeded. And that should be projected as to how these institutions come. Why not occur? See the motivation of the Al-Ameen education movement is this college, this the youngest team now. This is a miracle. The way they have achieved this, how successfully they have put the education movement they are instigated. Just motivation of Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed. In Karnataka, after 1967-68, all institutions have come with motivation of Al-Ameen. So it is all the way necessary that such visionaries, leaders who have sacrificed their life for the community should be analyzed, studied, and then I suggest that a research paper should be done. Somebody should do doctorate on Dr. Mumtaz Khan's life and achievements. I think if somebody come forward, I think they can also be helped financially to take a such project. Thank you very much.
He worked selflessly for the upliftment of the community. If he wanted, he could have made Al-Ameen and all the other institutions he established one of the best corporate-run educational institutions, not just in the country but the entire world. But he chose to be a person of for the people and by the people. The institution he established all across the country, he insisted on local participation. Wherever he went, whichever institution he established, he insisted on local participation. This brought the masses together. This is where he shared his vision, and his vision became the vision of several hundreds and thousands of people that we see today, who are contributing to the success of education and the upliftment of the community. My association with Dr. Saab goes back to as long as when I was 12 years old. One Sunday, my grandfather and me picked him up from his house and we went to a farm in Kiarapuram. It was a property just purchased by Yala Sharif Saab, and he had made a farm there. That's when I met my grandfather's friends, and I was the only child among all the elders there. That was the first time I met Dr. Saab. And during this few hours of drive up and down, he was not silent even for a minute. He always had a conversation, and that conversation got even a child like me interested in what was happening. As time went on, somewhere around 1994, when I completed my BCom, I just got my results. I got a call in my office. I was very young at that time. My father was traveling, my grandfather was bedridden, and it was Dr. Saab who told me that I'm sending pizza to you. Please sign the form and send a check for 2,500 rupees. I was not aware of what was happening, but Pizza came to my office and he sat with me for some time. I knew Pizza because previous 2-3 years we were associated with the distribution of uniform cloth through the scholarship committee. So immediately I filled up that one-page form that had about 5 to 6 sections. and I didn't have money in my account. And I told P. Sir, yes, sir, I don't have the money, what do I do? He said, give me the check. Later on, I'll call you again before depositing the check. So maybe after a day or two, I spoke to my grandfather and he gave me that cash of 2,500 rupees, put that in my account, and to see that the check is in cash. At that time, I never knew, I just thought it was some common club membership. But that time, that investment, that thing that we did, I think that's the best investment of my life. As time went on, somewhere around December 20, we had Mr. Zamir Pasha Shah, who was a vice chairman of the Al-Ameen Education Society. He passed away. And his funeral was at 10 in the morning on a Saturday. Approximately around 8:30, I had about 2-3 calls from Dr. Sadatunissa's number. So I was going to the funeral and I called him and he asked me where I was and his usual talk. It was very close to Dr. Sad's house. And he said, finish the funeral, I'll come and meet you. Somewhere around 10:45 in the morning, he said, now you have to get into the main line. I'm going to make you the vice chairman of the Al-Ameen Education Society. I was stunned, I was bewildered actually. Just 2 days later, he inducted me. It was a Tuesday, we had the EC meeting of the society. And he inducted me as the vice chairman of the Al-Ameen Education Society.
जो दिल को गुजरती है वो समझा नहीं सकते, हम देखने वालों को नजर आ नहीं सकते। रंगीन ये मुस्तकबिल रोशन है नजर में, हम कल के ये माहौल से घबरा नहीं सकते। मगरूर न हो फसले खिज़ां आके चमन में, ऐसे भी हैं कुछ फूल जो मुरझा नहीं सकते। डॉक्टर मुमताज अहमद खान के 6 सितंबर 2012 में अल-अमीन एजुकेशन सोसाइटी की जानिब से तहरीर पेश की गई थी। उस वक्त जो सिफारशनामा उनके एजाज में पेश किया गया, उसके इब्तदाई अशार जो मैंने आपके रूबरू पेश किए। बानी अल-अमीन तहरीक डॉक्टर मुमताज अहमद खान ने न सिर्फ अपनी रियासत कर्नाटक बल्कि इसकी हुदूद के बाहर पूरे हिंदुस्तान और दुनियाई इल्म और फन में जहां इल्म और हुनर की बात होती है वहां अपनी शिनाख्त कायम की। उनकी यादों के चिराग रोशन करने, उनकी बसीरत को खिराज तहसीन पेश करने और उनकी खिदमात के अहसन तस्करे के लिए बिस्मिल्लाह एजुकेशन ट्रस्ट ने डॉक्टर साहब की वालिदा की याद में जो तालीमी इदारा सादतुन्निसा डिग्री कॉलेज के ज़ेर तमाम इस आलमी सेमिनार का इनेकाद किया गया है। कितनी खुशनसीबी है उस बुजुर्ग शख्सियत की कि जिनकी वालिदा की याद में कायम तालीमी इदारे के पहलू में, उसके आगोश में उसकी यादों का तस्करा हो रहा है।
In Bihar, Delhi and other places for participators were also motivated like this. So, by the grace of Allah, all the success of the Muslim education, MES, the Al-Ameen education institution will be rewarded by Allah in the Akhirah, in the life in the Akhirah. So that we have to pray, because a person who have entirely his life have been devoted for the development of education of Muslim community, who by the grace of Allah he will be rewarded in the world hereafter. That is one aspect. Other thing is motivation each other is also important. Now the persons who are absolutely here, I remember the faces which right from the beginning I visit to Bengaluru in connection with the Al-Ameen movement. All faces are there. They were all motivating each other, and therefore we have to contribute also. Now I have heard a discussion that university is to be established by Al-Ameen. Al-Ameen University, Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan University of whatever it would be, it is not impossible. It is possible if we are working together. There can be a university in the name of Al-Ameen. Other institutions like BET and so many other institutions all over India. He has contributed, they have contributed for the purpose of establishment of the university. So I did not take much time because time is already over. Anyway, this is only, I have taken the result. Rahman Khan Sahib was mentioning about the motivation by Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan. I was telling the story. May Allah bless him. May Allah give him all graces. And also this movement will last forever. And also it will be a motivating force for all Muslims in India for establishment of the youth. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
हाज़रीन इकराम, अभी हम जनाब टीपी इब्राहिम खान साहब को सुन रहे थे। ये तमाम वो अहबाब हैं जिन्होंने काम किया है डॉक्टर साहब के साथ और उनको करीब से देखा, समझा और उनकी बसीरत को, उनके विजन को प्रैक्टिकली तौर पर उन्होंने इम्प्लीमेंट भी किया है। अब अहमदाबाद से हमारे साथ एक और मेहमान हैं जिनका ताल्लुक डायरेक्ट इनडायरेक्टली अल-अमीन से रहा है, जनाब मोहम्मद सुहेल फिरमिजी साहब, जो वहाँ पर एक रोजनामा गुजराती टुडे के नाम से शाये होता है और उन्होंने मुझे बताया कि ये अखबार शुरू करने का मकसद ये है कि न्यूज़ को उसके सही सच्चाई के पर्सपेक्टिव में पेश किया जाए। वो यहाँ आए हैं इस मौके पर। मैं आपसे जानना चाहूँगा कि व्हाट्स योर इम्प्रेशन अबाउट डॉक्टर मुमताज अहमद खान's services to the community and to the nation in terms of spreading the cause of education and making aware of the need to transform ourselves through the medium of education. Janab Suhail sir.
Thank you very much. I will firstly thank Satullah sir. I am basically a lawyer since 1990 in Gujarat High Court. After establishing myself as a lawyer mainly on criminal side, somewhere in 2002 when riots occurred, I started fighting for victims. And Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed Khan Sahib read about me from media over years because I was contesting matters of base degree case and other victims who were in relief camps. So newspapers had covered very widely. He contacted my brother who was at that time chairman of newspaper Gujarat Today, and he obtained my number and phoned me in 2002 itself and encouraged me and told me that you fight for victims because education alone is not enough. To fight for justice and enable justice to poor is a great ukukuli path which we will have to do. And fortunately, since you are a lawyer, you will be able to do it in best possible manner. Because in various fields, you can help people, you can guide people, and also take on their cases in various courts. And I decided to fight. I continued. And even today I am fighting for criminal appeals of those accused. I am fighting on behalf of victims. It is only because of motivation from late Dr. Mumtaz Khan Sahib, I picked up and then continued. Otherwise I would have perhaps given up. But he said, if you try to wipe out tears of these poor people, Allah will reward you, and it will be a very good message amongst other lawyers who are just running behind money. I therefore vowed not to accept even for expenses from any of the victims. And even today, when more than 175 matters, I personally appeared with numbers, with name, everything is there on website of Gujarat High Court. And as on today, let me tell, so far as riots of 2002 is concerned, 142 victims, 142 accused have been convicted. They have been sentenced to life imprisonment. And wherever life imprisonment is given, there again riots have not taken place since 2002. Therefore the message is, wherever riots take place, here also it happened, few years back, 5 years back, in coastal region of Karnataka, deliberately riots were engineered to polarize, and ultimately polarization helps one particular political party. So you should try your best to fight for victims. But this encouragement, this idea was generated by late Dr. Mumtaz Ali Khan Sahib, who was not only an educationist, but he was a visionary. He gave this idea, and the result is, wherever conviction has taken place, till today, no riots have occurred. So the people of that area, of that district, have got a message that this many people, this many rioters are in jail even today. So that for that, I'll always be thankful and obliged to late Dr. Mumtaz Ali Khan Sahib, who was very close to us, and I met him for the first time personally in 2010, and thereafter on several occasions we had communicated to each other. He came to Ahmedabad around 2010 in one of our functions, and he asked our brother Siraj Bhai Tirmizi that he would come and like to come to Ahmedabad, more particularly to meet his younger brother Suhail Tirmizi, because he had already attended several functions of Gujarat Today earlier, but he had not met me personally. So this is the kind of encouragement, the vision that person had, and ultimately he wanted to encourage youngsters, and he went on doing so till he breathed his last. Our Gujarat Today, the idea was engineered because of riots into 1984-85, and at that time local media in Gujarati was giving very one-sided, biased news and was trying to create hatred towards minorities, was trying to create hatred towards Muslims by publishing absolutely false news. It was under these circumstances, idea was generated that we should have a local newspaper in Gujarati language, in the language which ordinary non-Muslim would also read. Otherwise, Muslims know what is the fact, but Hindus, non-Muslims, they don't know. So we should publish a newspaper, and that's how a trust comprising only of Muslims was constituted, and Gujarat Today came into existence. Today it has its office in more than 5 districts of Gujarat, and reporters in each and every district of Gujarat. Our newspaper goes to north to south, east to west, corner of Gujarat, so that people, especially even not only secular people, but let me tell, once RSS chief from Gujarat had visited our office, saying that our chief Bhagwat ji has come and a meeting is arranged, so all editors are invited. But he came basically to tell that he reads our Gujarat Today from top first word to end. Then he kept quiet. But the message was to tell that even hardcore communal people also read Gujarat Today, and perhaps they might try to find out something. But since I am a lawyer I know how to take care, and we publish very boldly. I don't think any newspaper in entire country would be as bold as Gujarat Today, because in a very utterly secular newspaper also, they would publish one news against establishment. Then in another newspaper, they would carry some another one news. Our Gujarat Today would carry all these 15 to 16 news, which would be anti-establishment, anti-government. They may lie, not lie, but they can't do anything because such would, and it's because of blessings of elders that we have been very careful with proof we are publishing. Therefore, they can't do anything. So all this, in fact, we have traveled so far mainly because of idea and encouragement and motivation given by Dr. Mumtaz sahib. May Almighty Allah give him best place in heaven, and also to his family and all those who have encouraged him, who have supported him, and who have got education from his institutions. May Allah bless all of you, and thank you for inviting.
बहुत शुक्रिया. لك الحمد ولك الشكر يا الله. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام. تباركت ربنا وتعاليت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير. اے اللہ ہم سب کے گناہوں کو معاف فرما. اے اللہ ہمارے خطاؤں سے درگزر فرما. اے اللہ ہمارے سیئات کو حسنات سے مبدل فرما. اے اللہ ہم سب کے دنیا میں آنے کے مقصد کو پورا کرنے کی توفیق عطا فرما. اے اللہ دنیا میں رہ کر آخرت کی فکر کرنے کی توفیق عطا فرما. اے اللہ اب تک جتنے آئے اپنی عمر گزار کر دنیا سے رخصت ہو چکے ہیں، اے اللہ جو دنیا سے رخصت ہو چکے ہیں سب کی مغفرت فرما. اے اللہ سب کے درجات کو بلند فرما. اے اللہ خصوصاً آج کی یہ محفل جس شخصیت کے نام سے جڑی ہے، اے اللہ ڈاکٹر ممتاز احمد خان صاحب، اس امت پر خصوصاً ہمارے ہندوستان پر ان کا بہت بڑا احسان ہے تعلیمی اعتبار سے. اے اللہ ان کی مغفرت فرما. اے اللہ ان کے درجات کو بلند فرما. اے اللہ انہیں جنت میں اعلیٰ علیین میں مقام عطا فرما. اے اللہ انہیں اپنی زندگی میں جانے یا انجانے جو غلطیاں ہوئی ہیں، پروردگار ان غلطیوں کو اپنے فضل سے معاف فرما. اے اللہ آپ معافی کو بہت زیادہ پسند فرماتے ہیں. اے اللہ اگر کسی بندے کو معافی کا پروانہ مل جائے تو اس کا بیڑا پار ہو جائے گا. اے اللہ ان کے لیے عافیتوں کے فیصلے فرما، خیر کے فیصلے فرما. اے اللہ ان کے قبر کو نور سے بھر دے. اے اللہ انہیں کروٹ کروٹ جنت نصیب فرما. اے اللہ اسی طرح ڈاکٹر ممتاز احمد خان صاحب کے ساتھیوں میں سے بہت سارے افراد دنیا سے رخصت ہو چکے ہیں. جناب شکور صاحب، جناب صابر صاحب، جناب عبدالسلام صاحب، عبدالجبار صاحب، محمود خان صاحب، عنایت اللہ خان صاحب، جناب عبداللطیف صاحب، جناب عبدالحکیم صاحب، محمد مصطفیٰ صاحب اور جناب عتیق احمد صاحب، جناب ابراہیم خلیل اللہ خان صاحب، جناب مقصود علی خان صاحب. اے اللہ اس کے علاوہ اور بھی بہت سارے ساتھی دنیا سے رخصت ہو چکے ہیں، سب کی مغفرت فرما. اے اللہ سب کے درجات کو بلند فرما. اے اللہ اس وقت اسٹیج پر جتنے صاحبان جمع ہیں، اے اللہ سب کے لیے صحت کے فیصلے فرما. اے اللہ سب کے لیے عافیت کے فیصلے فرما. اے اللہ بڑی بڑی شخصیتیں یہاں موجود ہیں، اے اللہ ان کی تمام تر خدمات کو قبول فرما. اے اللہ الامین اداروں کی حفاظت فرما. اے اللہ بیٹی کی حفاظت فرما. اے اللہ روزنامہ سالار کی حفاظت فرما. اے اللہ جتنے ہمارے تعلیمی اور ملی تنظیمی ادارے ہیں تمام اداروں کو قبول فرما. اے اللہ تمام اداروں کو نظر بد سے بچا، اے اللہ ہر قسم کی آفتوں، مصیبتوں، پریشانیوں سے حفاظت فرما، محمد وآلہ واصحابہ اجمعین برحمتک یا ارحم الراحمین۔
بہت شکریہ مولانا سر۔ اس کے بعد ہمارے اس ادارے